it was tough going through everything, and lots of times I didn't think I was going to get through it. You know, and but damn it, thank you.
You're laughing and joking before you came out here, and you seem like you're in a really good place. And I saw you about a month ago before I filmed a show down there in Georgia, and you were gracious enough to give me an hour of your day, and you're about to go out on the road. And so now being back out on the road, left your own devices, how has it been on the road again? I mean, do those old habits want to come knocking back down the door?
Well, I just don't give it the opportunity, to tell you the truth. I mean, normally I travel with my daughter. She's great for me to travel with because she loves me very much, and you know, I just look at her and it'd be pretty hard for me to screw up that, you know, because we came so far to get our relationship back to where we wanted. And I'm not going to lie to you, I cheat. And when I say I cheat, there's a drug called antabuse out there. And if you take it, trust me, you will not drink. Because if you do, you will spend about 5 hours throwing up a ball of fire out of your gut and shitting at the same time. And I'm so goddamn stupid, I just had to test it.
You know that one scene in the movie, that's what we were waiting for that to happen.
They were waiting for me to, man, I wasn't stupid, I spit that son of a bitch out. I might be a drunken addict, but I ain't total fuck up.
And to talk to the director of this illustrious project that I had a great time watching. I've seen this thing several different times, and this was absolutely the best cut. Steve, what were your thoughts when you met Jake? Because he's a very unique individual. He had a lot of unique problems, and a hell of an addiction problem on top of that. And all of a sudden you get thrown into some of what goes along with the world of professional wrestling, or any other world for that matter. But what were your thoughts? Were you ever afraid that, hey man, shit, we might have been on more we can chew here?
Yeah, you know, initially it was more about helping Jake kind of get healthy and get in shape, and we ended up learning about how bad his addiction still was, and it was a crash course in trying to help somebody who had this monster that we had never dealt before. So you know, it was really intimidating. You know, dealing with Jake for the first time. He's an intimidating person, you know, to meet, you know, anyway, and he's very convincing. So, you know, that was the challenge, was trying to capture, you know, the story and try to find the truth.
What was what was like dealing with Jake in a grouchy mood? Because I mean, again, he is an intimidating person. You get up on him and he just got that soft voice. But I mean, if he tells you something, he's probably going to do it. So what was that like? I mean, because dude, you come from Cornell, like he's the only guy to graduate from Cornell with like a 4.5 GPA. So it's like a rocket scientist. And all of a sudden you're dealing with a guy like Jake. Does it scare the shit out of you?
Yeah, I was pretty intimidated. You know, one thing I always say about all of the wrestlers, because I never knew I would be working with so many wrestlers, you know, when I graduated from school. But one thing I always say is, like, they always have this kind of Jedi mind trick. Like, they can get anybody to do anything, and it's a really interesting thing to watch.
I couldn't get you to do shit. Call me out every damn time. I think Dallas gave me a special entrance.
Well, yeah, I was kind of the heel in the film but you know, Dallas kind of trusted me to be responsible for everything. So even though I was a filmmaker, you know, he knew when he left, when he went out of town, like, I was in charge. So, you know, that was usually the time where Jay kind of got the idea that, you know, he would, you know, get into some trouble.
The cat's away, the mice will play.
So what was the deal when Dallas left and you figured, okay,
I
this is
don't
my
know,
opportunity?
man. You know, it's just, you know, addiction is an evil son of a bitch. It knows all your weaknesses, it knows all your pleasures, it knows all your fears, it knows everything about you. And it will use anything, you know. Sometimes you had to drink because you had to celebrate. Sometimes you had to drink because you had to mourn. Sometimes you had to drink because it was Tuesday. Sometimes Tuesday morning. You know, that's just the monster, you know. And cunning and baffling is what they teach you in AA, you know, and it's true. Cunning and baffling. I hated it. It is so frustrating Because when I finally made up my mind that I really wanted to stop, I couldn't. And I kept slipping and falling. Kept slipping and falling. Then I know that Dallas is on his way back home and he's pissed off because I've just screwed up his vacation time, you know. And here's a guy that's opened his doors to his home and invited Scott and I in, and I just ruined his goddamn weekend, you know. The guilt gets on you. Then the shame gets on you. So each time I did screw up, it was, God damn, it was rough on me. You know, it was rough on everybody. Because they kept saying, you know, damn, Jake's went about 6 weeks now, but hell, you guys stayed about 6 weeks, man, I'd like to do something. And it just happened, as you've seen in the film. And but I finally just gave up. And when I finally gave up, it seemed like good things started happening.
There were some very tense moments there in the film when you would strayed off the path and, you know, Dallas had those come to Jesus meetings. I mean, was there at any time, and I know Dallas has the utmost respect and love for you, and probably vice versa, but did y'all ever come close to blows?
Still do. You know, Dallas is a very loving human being, but he believes in everything that he does. And if he believes in something, he'll fight for it. You know, I got to give that for him. You know, and you know, it's so amazing to me, for me to think back. And yeah, I did spend a long time with him back, trying to teach him how to wrestle. You know, and trying to teach him the ins and outs. But I didn't so much do that for Dallas. I did it for wrestling, because I love wrestling. You know, that's just the way it is. I mean, my duty as a wrestler is to teach others. And, you know, my pleasure is to teach others. When Dallas came back around and took me into his home, yeah, you realize how amazing that is, man? You're going to invite a drunk junkie into your home with all this camera equipment, all these nice things. You know what drunks and junkies do, don't you? We lie, we steal, we cheat, we do everything wrong. That's just the nature of the beast. But he's such an amazing man to open his doors. And I hope that when you walk out of here, you'll understand a little bit more about addiction and realize that, you know, I've been to a couple of jails and come to several rehabs, and I never met anybody that said, you know, when I was just a toddler, my dream was to grow up and become a junkie and a drunk. Nobody dreams of that when something happens. But I want you to also think about, you all know somebody that's struggling in life. It might not be family, but maybe it is. But it's somebody you've written off. It's somebody you're ashamed to be around. Somebody that's stolen from you. Somebody that's broken your friggin' heart. You love them, but yet they just keep doing the damn thing wrong. And you give it up and you don't want to see them no more, so you don't answer your phone. I want you to leave here tonight thinking about it, man. Because you might save their life if you're just a little bit more stubborn. Dallas is a stubborn son of a bitch. You got that Mexico.
He's got a kidney stone the size of the Rockets of Culver.
Yeah, that's what he gets for not eating
It's going to be a stomach to pass that thing.
Hell yeah. He's probably going to put it on a ring. Wearing around his neck like an Italian love horn. I don't know.
As positive as Dallas is, he'll make something positive out of it.
Nobody's ever shit in his milk. Oh, damn.
Bringing Chris Bell right over the end of the line here. Chris, you were a big part of one of the creators, Bigger, Faster, Stronger, a couple of years ago, a badass documentary about steroids dance. But you yourself had issues with substance abuse. So, you know, first of all, talk about your involvement with this project, and then also, you know, how this affected you and watching what Jake went through, being that you went through something very similar.
Sure, on YouTube, Steve had put up, I knew Steve for a while after I did Bigger, Stronger, Faster. We had talked about possibly doing some projects together. But I saw that YouTube video of when Dallas and Jake called Scott Hall. And I used to get those calls, I used to have those phone calls all the time with my brother, trying to help him and trying to get him out of his addiction, and it didn't work. You know, he ended up passing away shortly after we did Bigger, Stronger, Faster, about 8 months after that. So when I saw that, I was watching it, and I was having my own struggles at the time. I just started crying when I watched it. And I had called Steve up and I said, you know, whatever you guys are doing, it's great. You need to keep doing it. This is a message that you know, people need to hear. And actually, like a year after that, I think Steve called me and said, we have a rough cut of the film. And ironically, at that time, I was in rehab when he called me. So this film is just like, my job as an executive producer is really to get this film out to the world. And I would ask everybody here, if they like the film, to please tweet about it, post it on Facebook. You know, say that you came and you saw this movie, because we really need to make some noise and get this message out there of hope to people, because addiction is 100% curable. I went through it, Jake went through it, and we know it's curable. So.
Hey man, let's bring it back to Jake. I know there's a lot of people out here that would like to ask the man a few questions, and so if there's any questions out there at this time, man, let's turn the floor over so the man can speak. Any questions?
Yes.
Right here, we got one.
Do you still think you're going to be in the Royal Rumble?
No, I don't, because I've got to have my hip replaced in November 24th, and after that I'm moving to Las Vegas to start a brand new wrestling company, and it's going to be really, really awesome. There's a lot of key people that are being involved, and it's going to be a pleasure, because we're going back old school.
Hallelujah.
How do you deal with self-doubt right now?
I don't doubt myself anymore, you know? I've forgiven myself. I've forgiven my father. I accept myself for what I am. But when I look in the mirror right now, I like me. I'm a pretty cool cat. And I'm pretty fucking hot. And I'm single, too. The line points to my left. Snake's still living.
Back here in the green shirt.
Jake, it's not so much a question, but really a compliment. My mother went through addiction 25 years. She's been clean and sober now for 25 years.
Awesome.
Thank you. And so I grew up watching you in the 80s, and for some reason I always root for the bad guy. Not necessarily Hulk Hogan or Macho Man, but the bad guy, the way you always sat in the corner just getting ready for business. It was really inspiring. So when I saw you on Beyond the Mat, and then it like,
Bullshit.
I'm actually from Baltimore, in town, doing work for business. I was in town doing old school Raw, getting on those. That was the only time I've ever lost my mind watching professional wrestling when you came out at the end.
That really means a lot to me, man.
So
Thanks
you
very
come all
much.
the way back. I literally lost my mind when you came out.
I believe you're doing it again. God bless you, man.
Right there. The black glove on.
It's more of a comment. Basically, I just wanted to say, you know, you were basically my inspiration for getting into the business, and you know, I basically think that vignette with you, the Ultimate Warrior, and Undertaker, that was like the best thing that ever came out of that.
I know, man.
That,
I think Stone Cold.
that, like, is like one of the things that I like think about all the time. The way you can just speak, like you said on, you know, on tape. You don't have to be loud for everybody to understand, listen to what you're saying. And it drew me towards you. I mean,
Yeah, I'll tell you something, bro. I'll tell you why I think I was such a good interviewer. Because when you're an abused child, when you get raped, these bad things happen to you, you learn to lie pretty quickly. And you learn to convince people with your lies. You had to walk into a room and read these people. I had to figure out which ones I could get around, which ones I couldn't. It's a horrible life for a child, and I know that today, that whenever I travel, there's lots of times that kids will come in line to get an autograph, and I can look a child in that eye and know that child's being abused. Sexual abuse is an epidemic of proportions in this country, just as alcoholism and drug addiction is. It happens, I guarantee you, in 5 or 6 out of 10 of every home. Whether it's father, daughter, mother, uncle, what does it matter? There's just no goddamn need for it. Sorry, Lord. So let's start paying attention to what we're doing. And moms, I know it's tough. Those are your babies. And it lays on you. You know, the good book says that the man's supposed to be out there making the money, and sometimes, you know, we all get to wishing we could have 2 cars and a boat and a summer home. Maybe you'd be better off having 1 car and healthy children.
Back here in the blue shirt.
So my question was, what was the point you realized that, you know, your alcoholism wasn't sustainable? And then just as a joke thing, if you've seen the last 2 Royal Rumbles, are you sure that you can't get in?
Let me tell you, here was my idea. Steve, you tell me what you think about this. I planned on dressing up like an old woman. Now listen to me.
Ronnie Garvin.
Yes, Ronnie Garvin's right. It's exactly where I stole it from. Dressing up like an old woman and getting in a wheelchair and rolling up in ringside. Now, after everybody's in, I was going to hop the barricade, jump in the ring, and start tagging people and saying, "Vince said, get out." And watch all them bitches jump over the top rope. I win the belt. See you at Mania. I finally got me a goddamn main event. How about that?
Keep that a secret, because we don't know.
Don't tell Vince.
Yes, I have a favorite match with you and the Macho Man at Tuesday in Texas.
Yeah.
You are the most sadistic, craziest. I mean,
Not
when
really.
you lied, I believed it. So, do you have a specific match or good moment? For
No, I
yourself?
don't. No, I don't. That's not what this is about. All right? Let's keep it about this movie.
Baseball hat right there. You got jumped over.
No problem, brother.
I just had a question in regards more to your love of professional wrestling, how that kind of sustained you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different elements to that, obviously, and like it's been the rare few that have really exceeded at all levels, like Steve, you have, and Jake, certainly you have as well, whether it be the in-ring stuff, the
Right.
creation of a character, the promos and stuff. If there was a single element of that was kind of your favorite portion of it, I was just curious if there was like the thing about it that you were most
I
proud of
like
that you enjoyed.
every stinking bit of it, man. Sometimes I like getting the snot knocked out of me. Seriously.
Yes.
It's crazy, but I enjoy a good woman sometimes, you know. And I used to kid around a lot when I wrestled Ronnie Garvin, because Ronnie Garvin just knocked the dog shit out of me. He didn't give a damn. And I would be beating the snot out of him, and he'd be selling his ass off. And you know how I knew he was fixing to get up and kick my ass? His nipples would get hard. I swear to God. When those nipples got hard, he's fixing to get up and kick the living dog shit out of me. But let's try to stick with
Right
it.
in the red shirt.
How's it going, Jake? I thought the film was incredible. I, like myself, lost a lot of people, family members to addiction. You mentioned in the film and here already a bunch of times your father and forgiving your father. Unfortunately, I lost my father to addiction. Sometimes when things get bad, you start thinking, do I really forgive that person? Anybody else that's going through something like that, what would you say is one of the most important things that really...
Well, I'm not no doctor, you know. I know what's working for me, and for me to get healthy, I had to forgive my father for his sins. And I had to forgive myself, too. You know, I got into wrestling because I was trying to gain his love. And I made a deal with the devil to do anything possible. I was going to do anything possible to reach that goal, just to break it off in his rear end. But when you're fueled by hate, it's not a good game you're playing, because it's not healthy. You know, I wish I had a magic potion for you or a step-by-step, but you're asking the wrong cat that, dude. I'll just tell you what works for me. Love conquers all, and there's hope for everyone. Everyone.
Thanks so much for both of you, and for Jake, and thanks for the film as well, to the producer and director. And I appreciate all the work that you all have done to entertain us and have put your bodies through. I do appreciate that very much. My question is, what feedback, Jake, have you received from your peers in the biz, like in the sense of how they saw you before to where you're at now, and how does that help you in your journey?
Well, it's an awesome feeling, man, to have the guys come up and pat me on the back and welcome me back in the house. You know, it's awesome to have Vince McMahon shake my damn hand after all the stupid shit I said. You know, that man's a better man than most people think. You know, we had some bad go-arounds, and then, you know, it's amazing that when things turn bad, and a drunk and a junkie, you just put the blame on somebody else. But I'm a big enough man now to stand my ground and say, yeah, I was wrong, man. You know, I had a lot of issues that I wasn't dealing with. I wasn't healthy. And for the WWE to invite me into the Hall of Fame, that was an awesome feeling, man. And to be able to hoist one of my grandbabies up on my hands, man. Little son bitch grabbed the microphone too. I can't believe it. He's learning. But that baby came into this world weighing 1 pound and 8 ounces. His little sister weighed 1 pound and 11. They're my heroes. So every time I'm having a bad day, or if I start thinking like I want to think about a drink, I think of those kids, man. You know.
Real quick, but you know, I was we talked about earlier when Dallas and Steve rolled up on your crib in Gainesville, Texas. Where are you living currently?
My daughter and I are living in Atlanta, about 6-7 minutes away from Dallas. You know, I stayed at Dallas's place for 1.5 years, and then the daughter and I moved in because she's doing my business and in my business now. And now we're getting ready to move to Vegas. We're putting money away, and we're going to be building a nice place in Texas, back home, where we'll be surrounded by my grandkids and my sons, my identical sons.
I have a comment and a question. The comment is, props to you for being so transparent and courageous for opening your life up on film. That's major props on that. And my question to you is there ever a moment since you started this journey of making a documentary that didn't make it on tape that was like one of your funniest or best?
Are you serious? There's about 200 hours of great shit that I did, man. I mean, there's 200 hours of stuff, and I mean, Oscar-winning shit. You get all that out of there, you know? Trying to hold me back, man.
Yeah, we have a second documentary. It's about Jake's journey to the hand bone world championship.
Steve, aren't you guys going to make a behind-the-scenes thing of a lot of stuff that didn't make the cut?
Yeah, we have a lot of footage that you guys have never seen. So you know, there's actually a point where Jake and I go down to surprise Scott before we bring him to Atlanta. You know, I go down to film Scott. He doesn't know Jake's with me, so we filmed all that. So there's a lot of interesting scenes and compelling stuff that we're going to add to the DVD. So when that comes out.
When's that supposed to come out?
I don't know.
Hopefully that'll be out by the holiday, you know, maybe the beginning of the year.
I don't know how much more time we got here before I get to one more question. Jake, do you get a chance to watch today's current product?
Yeah, I do, you know, and I guess that's the reason I'm going to go to Vegas and open up another company. Don't get me wrong now. What Vince and them are doing is working for them, but it's not my flavor. Okay? And that's not saying I'm right or wrong, because you can't hardly argue what Vince does. But, hell, shut up, Jake. I won't get myself in trouble.
But my question was going to be, because it really chaps my ass. I see so many damn DDTs these days, and back when you hit that DDT, mister, it was over.
You see looking at it wrong. See, I look at it and I say to myself, well, look at that shit. But sometimes they say my name, but they do call it the DDT. But what the fan says is more important. What the fan says is, you know what, Dick Roberts did it. So much didn't get up. So what does that say? That says Jake Roberts is better than any of the current product. You're absolutely right about that part.
Next question, up there in the white shirt. There you go.
So one of my favorite parts of the movie was on Old School Raw, the look on Ambrose's face, to see how far you had come and to see what it meant to him. So did he say anything to you before or after that segment?
Well, you know, he was laughing, and the reason he's laughing is CM Punk told him the snake just shit on your chest. I didn't know that. And the snake didn't shit on his chest, I wish he had. But, no, it meant a lot to be on Old School Raw. It was such a joy for me, man, because, you know, they made me hide out in the damn bus all day, and nobody knew I was going to be there except for Vince and a couple of other people, and that was it. Up until right at the last minute, and man, to go out and put my hands on that ring again, and to roll in there, and CM Punk showing me what a guy he was. He went over and sat down on the ropes and allowed me that stage. And I'll never be able to thank that young man for that.
So the last few years during making this movie and even before you got sober, a lot of the wrestlers of your era in the 80s have passed away.
Yeah.
Like Savage and Piper. How did that affect your recovery or even while you were not sober or even wanted to kill yourself?
You know, it breaks your heart anytime somebody goes that you love. I don't think any of us are different like that, are we? I mean, hell, if my damn dog gets sick, I go nuts. Screw a snake, but a dog?
You have a shirt up there.
Yeah, two questions really. One, what was the one part of the movie you wish wasn't shown? And two, where do you keep your snake?
Yeah.
Still, the family friendly show here.
On scale for a couple of awards. I said that loud. What was the question?
What was the one part of the movie you wish wasn't shown?
That goddamn weight scene. I'm jumping around like a freaking clown. And I bet y'all all popped on that shit. You bastards.
All right, Jake's giving me the go home cue. I want to thank everybody for showing up, and Director Steve Yu, Chris Bell over there, the one and only Jake. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So many guys who are better than mine, and all of a sudden you see a guy that was down such a hole, down a rocky road like Jake, and be able to come back to where he is today. He was responsible for basically my whole career, so I love the guy. Thank you very much, Jake. Thank y'all.